Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Swami Narayan, Namaste. Welcome back. Tobias and I welcome you here as we start a new journey. Well, there goes Tobias. I guess he's done with the journey. We're going to be delving into Canto 5 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I am really excited about this book for many reasons. One of which is that Bhagavan Swami Narayan actually mentions this in the Shikshapatri. Not just the Vakshamrut or other writings about him, but it gets mentioned in the Shikshapatri itself, which means there's something special here. So I'm really excited to delve into this with that in the back of my head, and we will talk about that more in later things. The other reason I'm excited to start Canto 5 with all of you, because I've not read it. I would tell you if I have, as that's my rule on this channel, but I have read about it in a particular book. And the book is called Vedic Universe, Book 1, Flat Earth, by Radha. This is a little tome I had recommended to me, and I picked it up and I bought it. And Radha is a ISKCON devotee who has gone through Canto 5 and quasi-dissected it in this book to discuss the scientific ramifications of the canto in light of secular science. He is biased, though. He says that the Srimad Bhagavatam is true. So if there is a discrepancy, it is with science, not with its text. Some of you watching this may disagree with him. Some of you watching this may go, well, yes, but I'm just giving you the warning. Some of you may actually, though, say, well, he's right and science is wrong. Doesn't really matter. Just recommending this book. At some point in the future, I'll drop a video on this. And I'm just letting you know about this book because even though I haven't read Canto 5, I've kind of read about it, so I do know what I'm walking into, and I feel it's important for me to be honest with you if I'm not coming at something completely blind. Now, Radha did a second book where he actually goes verse by verse by verse through the entire canto and goes beyond just the scientific stuff. I have that, and I have not read it. I got it from him. He emailed it to me, and it was right when I was starting this channel, and I knew I was going to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, so I'm like, okay, I'm holding off. So, I really haven't read Canto 5, but I know where we're going, and I'm very excited for this and Bhagavan Swami Narayan. So, alright, that's the introduction. Let's dive in here. I'm just so excited about this, and I could just go on, but the excitement's not going to mean anything if I'm not actually reading it. Or I'm going to psych myself up, but I don't think I am, because I love the Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone who's watched my reading of this knows how much I love this book. Actually, since the last time I did any reading, I was gifted a more a different translation of it in prose form, so a little bit more literary, not verse by verse, because someone just knows how much I love this book, and also thought that a prose form might also help my understanding. So I look forward to reading that, but anyways, let's dive in here together. Canto 5 is called The Creative Impetus. Chapter 1, The Activities of Maharaja Priyavrata. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, "O great sage, why did King Priyavrata, who was a great self-realized devotee of the Lord, remain in household life, which is the root cause of the bondage of karma, and which defeats the mission of human life? Devotees are certainly liberated persons. Therefore, O greatest of the Brahmanas, they cannot possibly be absorbed in family affairs. Elevated Mahatmas who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu are fully satiated by the shade of those lotus feet. Their consciousness cannot possibly become attached to family members. O great Brahmana, this is my great doubt. How was it possible for a person like the king, who was so attached to wife, children, and home to achieve the topmost, infallible perfection in Krishna consciousness? Sri Sukadeva Goswami replied, "What you have said is correct. The glories of Lord Vishnu, who is praised in eloquent transcendental verses by such exalted personalities as Brahma, are very pleasing to great devotees and liberated persons. One who is attached to the nectarian honey of the Lord's lotus feet and whose mind is always absorbed in his glories may sometimes be checked by some impediment, but he still never gives up the exalted position he has acquired. My dear king, Prince Priyavrata was a great devotee because he sought the lotus feet of Narada, his spiritual master, and thus achieved the highest perfection in transcendental knowledge. With advanced knowledge, he always engaged in discussing spiritual subjects and did not divert his attention to anything else. The prince's father then asked him to take charge of ruling the world. He tried to convince Priyavrata that this was his duty as indicated in the revealed scriptures. The prince, however, was continuously practicing bhakti yoga by constantly remembering Lord Vishnu, thus engaging all his senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, although the order of his father could not be rejected, the prince did not welcome it. Thus, he very conscientiously raised the question of whether he might be diverted from devotional service by accepting the responsibility of ruling over the world. The first created being and most powerful demigod in this universe is Lord Brahma, who is always responsible for developing universal affairs. Born directly from Lord Vishnu, he dedicates his activities to the welfare of the entire universe, for he knows the purpose of the universal creation. This supremely powerful Lord Brahma, accompanied by his associates and the personified Vedas, left his own abode in the highest planetary system and descended to the place of Prince Priyavrata's meditation. As Lord Brahma descended on his carrier, the great swan, all the residents of the planets named Siddhaloka, Gandharvaloka, Sahyadaloka, and Karanyaloka, as well as great sages and demigods flying in their different airplanes, assembled within the canopy of the sky to receive Lord Brahma and worship him. As he received respect and adoration from the residents of the various planets, Lord Brahma appeared just like the full moon surrounded by illuminating stars. Lord Brahma's great swan then arrived at the border of Gandhamadana hill and approached the prince who was sitting there. Lord Brahma, the father of Narada Muni, is the supreme person within this universe. As soon as Narada saw the great swan, he could understand that Lord Brahma had arrived. Therefore he immediately stood up, along with Swayambhuva Manu and his son, Prince Priyavrata, whom Narada was instructing. Then they folded their hands and began to worship Lord Brahma with great respect. My dear king, because Lord Brahma had finally descended from Satyaloka to Bhuloka, Narada Muni, the prince, and Swayambhuva Manu came forward to offer him objects of worship and to praise him in highly qualified language according to Vedic etiquette. At that time, Lord Brahma, the original person of this universe, felt compassion for the prince, and looking upon him with a smiling face, spoke to him. And we are going to pause there, right on the edge of suspense. I was reminded while reading this of the Bhagavad Gita, because the prince has been told that his duty is to rule the world, but he doesn't want to do it. What is that reflective of? Chapter 1 in the Bhagavad Gita. Here we have that same situation. And we have also God revealing himself to instruct a devotee that his duty, while it is hard and it's uncomfortable and challenging, that duty is important. He must do his duty. That's what the Bhagavad Gita says. That's what we're seeing here now, reflected in a different story. But one must do their duty. I think so. I think, personally, that the purpose of life is to know God, to be with God, and to be a devotee of God. And when you are a devotee of God, then you're saying, okay, God, what is my duty? Make sure I know that. Please help me if I don't. And how can I carry out that duty? Someone asked me the other day, they're like, is there any place you want to go on vacation? Or, someplace you want to visit or whatever. And I kind of went, I've lived in a lot of places. I've done a lot of things. I'm like, I don't really have anything on my mind. And my girlfriend does, and I'll go where she wants. But I'm like, Angkor Wat? And they're like, what? And I said, where all the Buddhists are? Where all the Buddhas are and the temple that just goes on for miles and miles. I said, that would be cool to see. But honestly, I don't really have any place. And I think the person talking to me thought that was kind of sad. But no, it's not sad. Because my duty isn't God sending me to San Francisco. Maybe it is. Maybe by the time you see this video, I'm traveling someplace. But right now, as I record this, my purpose in life is to serve Lord Vishnu, to serve Lord Krishna, to serve Swami Narayan, the avatar of Krishna who walked this earth 200 years ago. And if God says you need to travel, okay, great, I'm excited about that. But if he doesn't, I'm not attached to places to see and situations to have for a moment of happiness. So to me, it's not sad to not want to do something or not want to see something, because it's not my duty as I perceive my duty to see these things. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just got kind of carried away there. This idea of duty, though, I think is often glossed over. So that first chapter in the Bhagavad Gita may seem very simple, but in reality, it's probably one of the most profound teachings. And I did a live stream on this. Matter of fact, if you go back in time on this channel, I actually did a talk about this, because I just think duty is just so important. And the more I think about this, I really think finding your duty and discovering it is just one of the most important things you can do. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Come on this journey with me and chit-chat down below with me, and let's find great pleasure in this wonderful book and in this great canto together. And I look forward to your comments and all that good stuff. So until next time, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swami Narayan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Om Shri Swami Narayan Namaha.